To the Vanilla Bean Cafe. This is our local cafe, and I'm here tonight to sing for you, but also I'm going to tell you some stories. I've discovered that not only do I like to sing, but I love to read, and I like to go to my local library and take out as many books as possible and then read them and then bring them back and get more books. And so today I'm going to share with you some of my favorite books that I've read with my kids and that go along with the songs I'm going to sing. But I'm going to start out with a song about gardening. And I'm sure that some of you have gardens in your backyard, and perhaps you go to farmers markets where people have grown the food that you eat. Well, this is a song by Malvina Reynolds called Hello Ladybug. Hello ladybug, little lady ladybug, hello ladybug, my little friend. Eating up the crawlers that eat up my roses. Fly around ladybug, come back again. Hello buzzy bee, little fuzzy buzzy bee, hello buzzy bee, my little friend. Gathering the pollen that makes food and flowers grow. Buzz along, buzzy bee, come back again. Hello wiggleworm, little giggle wiggle worm, hello wiggleworm, my little friend. Churning up the ground so the roots can go down. Oh, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle worm, come back again. Hello butterfly, little flutter butterfly, hello butterfly, my little friend. Flying all around till the sun goes down. Oh, flutter by butterfly, come back again. Hello ladybug, little lady ladybug, hello ladybug, my little friend. Eating up the crawlers that eat up my roses. Fly around ladybug, come back again. Come back again. My friends Maria and Barry are here watching live. Why don't you play the guitar down and pick up a book? Because this book has a lot of the same creatures in it that song had. And it's called Jack's Garden. Any of you out there named Jack? It was written by a guy named Henry Cole. This is the garden that Jack planted. And you're going to want to remember that because this part repeats itself and you will be able to say it every time I turn the page. This is the soil that made up the garden that Jack planted. These are the seeds that fell on the soil that made up the garden that Jack planted. I can hear you. Oh, look, there's daisies, coreopsis, wildflower mix, black-eyed Susans, columbine. Oh, and here are all the seeds of those same ones, including milkweed seeds, which you're seeing right about now. This is the rain that wet the seeds that fell on the soil that made up the garden that Jack planted. These are the seedlings that sprouted with the rain that wet the seeds that fell on the soil that made up the garden that Jack planted. These are the plants that grew from the seedlings that sprouted with the rain that wet the seeds that fell on the soil that made up the garden that Jack planted. Oh, look, here we have a garter snake way over here, and we have a praying mantis. There's bee balm and a goldenrod spider. They're really cool looking. These are the buds that formed on the plants, that grew from the seedlings, that sprouted with the rain, that wet the seeds, that fell on the soil, that made up the garden that Jack planted. Oh, there's all kinds of bugs here, including our ladybug from the song. These are the flowers that blossomed from the buds that formed on the plants, that grew from the seedlings, that sprouted with the rain, that wet the seeds, that fell on the soil, that made up the garden that Jack planted. Look at all those. Oh, this mullein is gorgeous. Mullein stands like 6 feet tall sometimes. These are the insects that sipped the nectar from the flowers that blossomed, from the buds that formed on the plants that grew, from the seedlings that sprouted with the rain that wet the seeds, that fell on the soil, that made up the garden that Jack planted. Oh, look at all these gorgeous butterflies. They were gathering the pollen just like the bees. These are the birds that chased the insects, that sipped the nectar from the flowers that blossomed, from the buds that formed on the plants that grew, from the seedlings that sprouted with the rain that wet the seeds, that fell on the soil, that made up the garden that Jack planted. And almost all of these birds live in my backyard. Ooh, except a barn swallow. I don't think we have any in our house. We have vireos, yellow warblers, catbirds, the goldfinch with the beautiful yellow feathers. And this is the garden that Jack planted. Look at that gorgeous, gorgeous garden with all the beautiful flowers. Well, I wrote a song for the Michigan 4-H Club Children's Garden. And it's about gardening. Whoops. But instead of plants, it was gardening love. So we're going to sing that one now. And you have a job. Your job is to sing an echo of everything that I sing. So anytime I sing something, you just sing it right back, okay? You did such a good job in that book. I'm sure you can do it here. So every time I sing something, you sing it back. Gonna plant me a garden, gonna make it grow, gonna water it well, gonna weed and hoe, gonna plant me a garden, neath the sun above, and the seeds I'll plant are the seeds of love. Gonna plant me a garden, gonna make it grow, gonna water it well, gonna weed and hoe, gonna plant me a garden, neath the sun above, and the seeds I'll plant are the seeds of love. Gonna plant them in the yard for my friends to see. Gonna plant them for you, gonna plant them for me. With a little bit of care, they'll grow to be flowering rainbows across the sea. And when they've grown from shore to shore, our sisters and brothers all around the world will harvest fruits brought by the dove. And in those fruits are the seeds of love. Gonna plant me a garden, gonna make it grow, gonna water it well, gonna weed and hoe, gonna plant me a garden, neath the sun above. And the seeds I'll plant are the seeds of love. And the seeds I'll plant are the seeds of love. Love. Gonna plant me a garden. Nice job. Well, for those of you who don't know what this instrument is, it's called an Appalachian Mountain Dulcimer because it comes from the Appalachian Mountains in the United States. You can look at a map and find out where that is. And now I'm going to actually take it off again because I have another book for you. I don't know if you have discovered this yet, but probably during the COVID times, you've had to stay home a lot, and maybe your sisters and brothers are home a lot too, and maybe it's hard to be together all in one house for a long time, and maybe it gets loud sometimes, or maybe you just don't realize that there's sounds around you. In fact, let's just stop for just a second and just notice what you hear in the room where you are. So everybody, shh, be real quiet just for a second. Go. Close your eyes too. Open your eyes. So what did you hear? I heard the guy who's in the sound box back there, John Murphy, he was setting down something, and I heard it go click on the table. And I heard the refrigerators in the other room going. And I heard cars outside. And I'll bet you heard some similar things too. Well, this story is called It's Too Noisy because of sounds like that. It's Too Noisy by Joanna Cole, illustrated by Kate Duke. And this is another one where you get to make some sounds as we read the story. I hope you know how to snore. And by the way, when we make the sounds, I'm going to go like this when we stop making the sounds. Once, there was a little house. Do you know who lived there? A poor farmer lived in that little house with his wife, a grandmother, and a grandfather. Lots of children, and a little bitty baby in a crib. Day and night, there was always a lot of, here's where you go, yelling. So try yelling, and singing. And then you stop. And snoring, and laughing, fighting, and crying. It was too noisy. The poor farmer wanted quiet. He went to the wise man. Oh, wise man, he said, my house is full of people. It is too noisy. Please tell me what to do. Well, the wise man closed his eyes, and he thought, and he thought, and he thought. Ah, here is what to do, he said. Bring your rooster and your chickens into your house. Well, this is a funny thing to do, thought the farmer. But he did what the wise man told him. He got his rooster and his chicken, and he put them in the house. That night, there was a lot of yelling and singing, la, 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 snoring, laughing, ha, 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 fighting, and crying. And now, there was clucking and crowing too. Cluck, 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 cock-a-doodle-doo. It was much too noisy. Well, the next day, the farmer went back to the wise man. Oh, I put the rooster and the chickens in the house, he said, but it was worse than ever. Then you must put your pigs and your sheep in the house, said the wise man. That is a very funny idea, thought the farmer, but he did what the wise man said. That night, there was yelling, ah! And singing, ha, 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 snoring, and laughing, ha, 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 and fighting, grrr, and crying, wah! Clucking and crowing, cluck, 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 cock-a-doodle-doo. And now there was oinking and buying too. Oink, 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 bah, bah. It was even worse than ever. So the farmer went back to the wise man. Noise, 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 he said. I cannot stand it anymore. The wise man said, oh, well, now put your donkey and your cow in the house. Is the wise man crazy? Thought the farmer. But he did what the wise man said. He put his donkey and his cow in the house. Now there was yelling, wah! Singing, la, 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 snoring, and laughing, ha, 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 and fighting, grrr, and crying, wah! And there was clucking and crowing, oinking and buying, oink, 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 bah, and braying, How does a donkey bray? Hee-haw, hee-haw, and mooing. Moo. It was so noisy that the poor farmer did not sleep all night. The farmer went back to the wise man one last time. Wise man, oh, my house is like a barn, he cried. I cannot stand it. Well, the wise man smiled. Here is what you do, he said. Take all of the animals out of the house. The farmer ran home, and he did just what the wise man said. He put out the chickens. He put out the rooster. He put out the pigs. He put out the sheep and the donkey and the cow. Was the little house still noisy? Well, there was still yelling and singing. There was still snoring and laughing. There was even some fighting and crying. But there was no clucking, no crowing, no oinking, no buying, and thank heavens there was no mooing or braying either. And to the farmer, that little house seemed as quiet can be. So maybe your house sounds noisy like his house sometimes. And you can make it quiet again. Well, this song is written by my friend Paul Kaplan, and Paul's grandfather lived in Russia, and when he grew up in Russia, there was a terrible war, and his family had to flee. They had to escape as refugees from Russia, and they couldn't bring anything with them. They had just the clothes on their backs, but they also had the stories in their head. And when Paul was a little boy, his grandfather used to tell him this story over and over again, and Paul became a musician. And so he took the story his grandfather told him, and he turned it into a song. And it's also a book. So here's a song that's a book that's a song. And let's see. There we go. So it has a part for you to sing. When I sing, what'll I do? You'll sing back, what'll I do? And then there's a chorus where you sing, and I'll sing every day of my life. Try that. And I'll sing every day of my life. I had no coat, but the coat got torn. What'll I do? I had no coat, but the coat got torn. What'll I do? I had no coat, but the coat got torn, so I cut it down and a jacket was born. And I'll sing every day of my life. That's your part. Try it again. And I'll sing every day of my life. Well, soon those threads were getting thin. What'll I do? Soon those threads were getting thin. What'll I do? Soon those threads were getting thin, so I called it a shirt and I tucked it in. And I'll sing every day of my life. Oh, those sleeves wore out to the east and the west. What'll I do? Sleeves wore out to the east and the west. What'll I do? Those sleeves wore out to the east and the west, so I pulled them off and I had a vest. And I'll sing every day of my life. Oh, I stained that vest with cherry pie. What'll I do? I stained that vest with cherry pie. What'll I do? I stained that vest with cherry pie, so I cut and I stitched till I had me a tie. And I'll sing every day of my life. Oh, soon that tie was looking lean. What'll I do? Soon that tie was looking lean. What'll I do? Soon that tie was looking lean, so I made me a patch for my old blue jeans. And I'll sing every day of my life. And when that patch was next to nothing, what'll I do? Oh, when that patch was next to nothing, what'll I do? what'll I do? When that patch was next to nothing, I rolled it up into a button. When I'll sing every day of my life. And when that button was almost gone, what'll I do? What'll I do? When that button was almost gone, what'll I do? When that button was almost gone, with what was left, I made this song, which I'll sing every day of my life. Yes, I'll sing every day of my life. I will sing every day of my life. I had an old coat. Back to the thinking about the library, that song is one that started as a story and then became a song. And this is one version of that story written by Sims Tabak, and I'm sure you can find this in your library. And if not this one, there's several other versions of this story. One is called Something from Nothing. And this one, and I wanted to say that at your library, you can find almost any book that you could possibly want. And even if sometimes the libraries right now, you can go back in them as long as you wear a mask, but some libraries you can't go inside yet, but you can call them up and ask them for a book that you want, and they will find it for you, and they will let you pick it up on the curbside. So libraries are a great place for this time when it's so difficult to get out and find good stuff. So the library will help you with that. They can find a book anywhere in your state. Well, this is called Joseph Had a Little Overcoat by Sims Tabak. And if you look at this, here's the cover. Can you see that it has holes in it? It has holes in the cover, and that's a hint about what goes on in the book. Joseph had an overcoat, it says. He wore the coat for a long time, and then something happened to it. And there's a moral to the tale. Oh, and this has a part for you to repeat too. You always say, it was old and worn. So Joseph had a little overcoat. It was old and worn. And there's his overcoat. Look at how patched it is down here. It's all patched up. And this page has a piece cut out of it. Look at that. And when I put it over, there's his jacket. So he made a jacket out of it and went to the fair. So off he went to the fair. Well, Joseph had a little jacket. It got old and worn. And here's our cutout over here. If I flip the page, that cutout turned it into a vest. So he made a vest out of it, and he danced at his nephew's wedding. Joseph had a little vest. It got old and worn. And here in the window, peeking in, there's some holes there, and they come over. So he made a scarf out of it, and he sang in the men's chorus. Joseph had a little scarf. It got old and worn. So we see what happens next. So he made a necktie out of it, and he went to visit his married sister in the city. Can you see that this is a lot like the song? Has some different things, but Joseph had a little necktie. It got old and worn. Oh, these holes get smaller and smaller and smaller. So he made a handkerchief out of it. There's his handkerchief. And he drank a glass of hot tea with lemon. Joseph had a little handkerchief. It got old and worn. And now the hole is very teeny tiny. So he made a button out of it and used it to fasten his suspenders. Joseph had a little button. One day, he lost it. Now he had nothing. So Joseph made a book about it, which shows you can always make something from nothing. And this book even has music for a song in the back. It's not Paul Kaplan's song, but it's another song. So other people have made songs out of this story as well. And there are lots of books that are songs that were songs and then they got turned into books. This is one of them. I'm going to put that one down. And now I'm going to read you another book, but I'm going to sing you this book. This is a song that I wrote. So Paul Kaplan's story became a song. This is a song that became a story. I learned this song from my grandfather, who used to sing it to me when I was very little, and I would sit on his knee, and he would sing to us. And so I turned it into a song about endangered animals. And each verse tells you a little bit about the animal, about how many babies they have and where they live, maybe what they eat. And it got turned into a book, and I got to add more animals to it. It's called Earth Song by Sally Rogers. That would be me. And it's illustrated by Melissa Bay Mathis. And she knew that I loved quilts, and she made this gorgeous picture of a quilt in the front. I've often thought I ought to make that quilt. It's so beautiful. In my grandparents' parlor was an overstuffed chair. We climbed up in my grandpa's lap when we sat there. Sing, said my grandpa, let's sing, said we. And this is what we sang upon my grandpa's knee. In the North Atlantic Ocean, 'neath the Arctic sun, lived a mom and papa right whale and their whale calf one. Blow, said the mother, we blow, said the one, and they blew and they spouted 'neath the Arctic sun. Well, this is about panda bears, and you know, right now there's a panda at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. that is ready to have a baby, and they have a webcam in her cage, and if you watch every day, you might just see the baby pandas being born. Far away in China, where the bamboo grew, lived a young mother panda and her little pandas too. Chew, said the mother, we chew, said the two, and they chewed in far off China where the bamboo grew. It takes place in India. In the Bangladeshi jungle where the tigers roam free, lived a mother Bengal tiger and her little cubs 3. Pounce, said the mother, we pounce, said the 3, and they pounced in the jungle where the tigers roam free. This is also in India. In the Gujarati forest where the serpent eagle soar, an Asiatic lioness groomed her golden cubs 4. Roar, said the mother, squeaked the 4, and they roared in the forest where the serpent eagle soar. Here's the serpent eagle up at the top here. At the mouth of a tunnel where the prairie dogs dive, stood a black-footed ferret and her little ferrets 5. Stand still, said the mother, we will, said the 5, and they stood at attention where the prairie dogs dive. This is about sun conures, and I say that they're very noisy, and I actually heard some sun conures, and they are very noisy. They are noisier than we were when we read the last book. 'Neath the rainforest canopy where monkeys play their tricks, flew a sun conure mother and her noisy nestling 6. Shriek, said the mother, we shriek, squawked the 6, and they shrieked through the canopy as monkeys played their tricks. In the Arizona desert, in the heat of 111, lived a mother Gila monster and her little monsters 7. Strike, said the mother. We strike, said the 7, and they stuck their little tongues out in the heat of 111. On a beach their mother visited again and again. The leatherback turtles hatch 8, 9, 10. Swim, said the others. We swim, said the 10. And they swam from the beach, but they come back again. Did you know that turtles come back to where they were born to lay their eggs? They remember that from when they were born. Can you imagine coming out of that little egg, and you live your whole life, and every time you're going to lay some more eggs, you come back to where you were born? That's quite something. These are the aurora borealis, or the northern lights, and if you're lucky in your life, you'll get to see them sometime up in the night sky. On the frigid Arctic tundra, where auroras paint the heaven, lived a grizzled mama gray wolf and her pack of pups 11. Howl, growled the mother. We howl, growled the 11. And they howled on the tundra where auroras paint the heavens. In the swampy Florida Keys, south of Lake Okeechobee, a mother croc taught her babies 20, 30, 40. Paddle, urged the mother. We paddle, pipped the 40, and they paddled in the swamps south of Lake Okeechobee. Did you know that mother crocodiles, they hold their babies in their mouth and they don't swallow them. They just keep them in their mouth and they carry them from the nest out to some water. That's kind of cool too. Oh, and this is my favorite one. It's the boa constrictor. I don't know, is it the python who's around her egg. She makes a nest out of her body for the eggs. Coiled round her nest of eggs for 50 lonely days, a mother python longed to watch her 100 snakelets play. Hatch, said the mother, we'll hatch, they hummed for days. And finally when they hatched, she watched her snakelets play. Fin, fur, and feather, and the human race must share Mother Earth as she spins through space. Share, says my mother, please share this place, and we'll care for Mother Earth as we spin through space. And that's my book, Earth Song. And the song has been recorded. The song is a little different than the book. It's not as long as the book, and has a few different animals. As the editor to the book said, more little brown birds. And so that's, the book is out of print, but you can find it used, and you can find it in libraries for sure. And the record that it's on is called Piggyback Planet. And this has the music to the song on the back as well. So I'm going to put that one down. And I thought I would sing one more song for you tonight. And I was going to sing this one, Hush, Little Baby, because when my children were born, they didn't have moms and dads. So we got to adopt our daughters because we didn't have any kids. And so they were born in India, which meant that we had to go bring them home. So we went to get our first daughter, Milana. And when I held her in my arms for the first time, I was shocked. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be able to sing to my baby. And I couldn't think of anything to sing. And here I know hundreds of songs. I could not think of a song to sing. And then somewhere out of the depths came a song to me that my mother used to sing. And this is it. You know, maybe I will sing this one. And I'm not going to show you the book because you can look it up in the library, but I'll sing this one, and then I will sing one more because we have time. So, let's see. Yep, there we go. And this is a song that I sang to my daughter Milana when we first got her, and you know what? She actually fell asleep. It works. These work. Now, of course, I'm assuming that it's most of your bedtimes right now, and so this is a little lullaby for you. And I have a little lullaby CD called At Quiet O'Clock. think all that information is on there, on the website, underneath the video today. You can find out how to get it. So here's Hush Little Baby. Hush little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. If that mockingbird don't sing, Mama's gonna buy you a diamond ring. If that diamond ring turns brass, Mama's gonna buy you a looking glass. And if that looking glass gets broke, Mama's gonna buy you a billy goat. And if that billy goat won't pull, Mama's gonna buy you a cart and bull. And if that cart and bull turn over, Mama's gonna buy you a doggy named Rover. If that doggy named Rover won't bark, Mama's gonna buy you a horse and cart. And if that horse and cart fall down, you'll still be the prettiest little baby in town. And I found that song never to be long enough. And Moana didn't mind if I sang it again, so I sang it again like this. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. If that mockingbird don't sing, Mama's gonna buy you a diamond ring. And if that diamond ring turns brass, Mama's gonna buy you a looking glass. And if that looking glass gets broke, Mama's gonna buy you a billy goat. And if that billy goat won't pull, Mama's gonna buy you a cart and bull. And if that cart and bull turn over, Mama's gonna buy you a doggy named Rover. If that doggy named Rover won't bark, Mama's gonna buy you a horse and cart. And if that horse and cart fall down, you'll still be the sweetest little baby in town. It's a sweet song. Well, thanks. I'm going to sing one more. Another lullaby, since it is that time. I just have to be careful that I don't fall asleep while singing it. And this is a song actually I learned when I was in 3rd grade. And I think, let's see. There we go. So, no. Oh, it's not that key though. Hold on. Whoop. There we go. There we go. So some of you may know this, and it's a riddle song. Now, do you know what a riddle is? It's kind of like a joke, but it's not really funny. It's like a puzzle where someone poses a question that doesn't have a sensible answer, really. And that's what this song is. It starts out asking a question, and then it gives the answer to the riddle. Here's the riddle. How can there be a cherry that doesn't have a stone inside, a pit inside? And how can there be a chicken that doesn't have any bone? Now, wouldn't that be funny? Can you imagine a chicken running around without any bones? It would just be all floppy, right? And then how can there be a ring, like this ring, that has no end to it? And how can there be a baby that never cries? That's the big question. So that's what this song is about. I gave my love a cherry that had no stone. I gave my love a chicken that had no bone. I gave my love a ring without an end. And I gave my love a baby with no crying. How can there be a cherry that has no stone? How can there be a chicken without a bone? How can there be a ring without an end? And how can there be a baby with no crying? A cherry when it's blooming, it has no stone. A chicken when it's peeping, it has no bone. A ring when it's rolling, it has no end. And a baby when he's sleeping, there's no crying. And a baby when he's sleeping, there's no crying. Thank you. Oh, there probably are a bunch of adults watching. Sure, I could sing an adult song. One more. Okay, I will. Let's see, while I'm in this tune, let's see what. I know, let's see. What will I do? Well, you know, this is it's also a quiet song. This is a song, and probably not a great one to end on, but I'm going to end on it anyway. This is a song from my new album that's not out yet. It's from Old Friends I Never Met. The old friends in this song are 3 little children and a grandfather. And they all lived in the 1800s, and they all are buried in the same cemetery. And so the words for this song are from the gravestones of those 4 people, the 3 children who were the grandchildren of. And those children, if they had had vaccines back then, they wouldn't have died as young as they did in the song. So as we're waiting for a vaccine, I'll sing this song. And it has a part for you to sing, which is the grandfather's epitaph. It goes, "We shall meet again, we shall meet again, we shall meet again, it will not be long." Try it. We shall meet again, we shall meet again, we shall meet again, it will not be long. And I'd like to say we will meet again. I hope I see you, more of you on Facebook. I will be back at my Facebook Live on September 1st doing Song a Day Keeps the Virus Away. I'll be back doing that again. So, fare thee well, sweet bud of beauty, little Eliza, fare thee well. Thou wast too pure and lovely here on earth to dwell. We shall meet again, we shall meet again, we shall meet again, it will not be long. We shall meet again. We shall meet again. We shall meet again. It will not be long. Her little form lies buried here, her spirit's gone to heaven above. 'Twas hard to part and shed a tear for one by us so well beloved. We shall meet again. We shall meet again. We shall meet again. It will not be long. We shall meet again. We shall meet again. We shall meet again. It will not be long. Oft upon the still air trailing cometh tones of thee so dear, and the heaven thy spirit shrineth, that we can almost deem thee near. We shall meet again. We shall meet again. We shall meet again. It will not be long. We shall meet again. We shall meet again. We shall meet again. It will not be long. Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you to the Vanilla Bean. Thank you to John Murphy on the sound, Barry Jessrin on the video, and to the wonderful establishment that we're so lucky to have here in town, and to Maria for coming tonight. Thank you. So hope to see you all another time. Thank you.